Skyrim has blessed us with its existence for 13 years. Everyone and their brother has played it, most people still love it, but not everyone's completely finished it. I want to say that I have. I hope you'll tag along with me on this incredible journey to find all that Skyrim has to offer. The goals are simple, but the road to the journey's end is long. To complete Skyrim in its entirety, I simply have to complete all quests including DLC, collect all achievements including DLC, acquire all perks including the Werewolf and Vampire Lord perk trees, become the leader of all guilds, end the Civil War, collect all Daedric artifacts, read all skill books, read all black books, collect all Nirnroot, collect all Dragon Priest masks and words of power, and discover all locations. I chose a Red Guard because I've never played one before, and I prefer Adrenaline Rush as the most useful ability overall with the other options given. I thought the name Draco Malfoy Villain would be funny given my character's rather ominous appearance, but I didn't want to have a whole fandom mad at me. From here, everything plays out as normal. I got signed up for execution, listened to an angry old man, watched a guy get beheaded, got yelled at by Daddy Alduin, jumped through a roof, got knocked down by a dragon? Okay. Watched bootleg Lord of the Rings, and ran inside to safety. As I started with before, this particular playthrough is going to be one of many firsts. In the roughly 10 years of playing Skyrim, I've never played a Redguard, escaped with Hadvar, sided with the Legion, or played on a higher difficulty. With that extensive experience, I felt confident that I had an understanding and gauge of Skyrim's combat system. Never mind. To be honest, I didn't think it was going to be this hard. After changing the difficulty back down to expert, things got a bit more manageable and combat didn't feel too overly challenging. I upgraded to an iron shield along with the lockpicks on the counter. I broke into the cages for some easy XP as I'll need all the levels I can get, along with some starting gold and goodies to disenchant later. In honor of Paul of Mitten Squad, I picked up a prized possession, a bucket, sitting cold and lonely on the torture room floor. Leveled up lockpicking to 16, took some gold off of a dead guy. My one-handed increased to 27 in the next encounter, and one of the frostbite spiders I killed had apparently swallowed a garnet, took an egg for safekeeping, shot a bear with a bow, and we successfully escaped from Helgen. On the way to Riverwood, I picked up every ingredient along the way to start stockpiling for alchemy.
The Legion. Rebel.
Picked up the warrior stone for the sweet armor grind, took even more food from bees, killed some feral pets, and made absolutely sure to put any local florist out of business. Hadvar and I stopped at Alvor's for plot purposes.
You know I was assigned to General Tullius' guard. We were... ducked in Helgen.
After leaving, I spoke with Lucan about his stolen White Claw, accidentally sold my prized bucket, and was off to Bleak Falls Barrow. Everything here played out about as how you would expect it to. I increased my stealth to 16 by getting noticed, killed a bandit, increased my block to 21, getting me my first perk point and a shiny new axe. I killed some more bandits and took their clothes for my own or to sell later. Once inside, I started working on my stealth archer abilities to help that slow grind pick up progress. Yep. Once my sneak leveled up to 18, I remembered that I still hadn't assigned my first perk point yet, so I increased my stamina, and I realized I needed to at least be somewhat careful about where to put my early game points. So I went with blocks because I needed all the help that I could get. It's been a while since I've seriously played Skyrim, and I couldn't remember if block would also decrease the amount of stamina used during combat. It does not. Regardless, I stuck with the tried and true stealth archer method and of course didn't have any trouble at all other than just being genuinely terrible at the game. Even the bandit outlaw and the wounded frostbite spider didn't feel too much like a one-sided fight, so I beat the spider, freed and killed Arvel, picked up Lucan's golden flavored White Claw, and proceeded through the next set of enemies. Oh boy. After recovering from being sent all the way back to the very beginning of the dungeon, I started to play a bit more aggressively to make up for lost time. The only problem with this is I was too focused on combat and unfortunately fell to the wounded frostbite spider.
Keep it away from me!
After regaining my composure, careful planning, and the onslaught of enemies, here's a recap. I killed some people debatably stronger than giant rats. I increased my stamina twice and put a point in restoration and alteration. I took a homeless man's clothes. I acquired my first skill book. The frozen tarantula spit at me and I got poisoned again. I got sweet revenge on the wounded frostbite spider. I retrieved the golden claw. Body break. I proved that I've started this game one too many times. I abused some dead guy for experience. Baby's first execution. I had a flashback and almost pooped my pants. I got sweet revenge on the restless Draugr in a very satisfying way, mind you. I forgot and almost pooped my pants again. I increased my health and I put a point in destruction. I felt bad because this guy was just trying to save his buddy. I utilized dangerous interior decor. I feared for my life again. I did what Legolas couldn't at Helm's Deep. I decided to use magic for the first time. I picked up some iron ore. I still have never successfully landed this second shot. I opened the dead man's chest and the dead man. I was indecisive about what to level up. I put a point in conjuration. I save scummed to see if you could actually shoot through this. Neat. I almost died to a restless Draugr again. I got the attention of the local population. I abused the stealth mechanic. I witnessed an intelligence rival to my own. I recovered some arrows and woke up an old man. I upgraded my bow. I figured out how to inspect an item all by myself, and I finally opened the inner chamber door. While I am playing on expert for the first time, I never thought I would have this much trouble getting through the first dungeon. I'll also take this time to explain what exactly my strategy is with my perk points. I chose the Schools of Magic first because those are the perks that feel the most impactful at the beginning of the game, and sure, extra damage and protection are nice, but those that have played a magic build know the pain of running out of magic mid-engagement so early on. And with that, I picked up the first Word of Power and began the final boss fight against the Draugr Overlord. I didn't really have a strategy for this fight. I did drink a potion of health and apply the weak paralysis poison I picked up earlier inside the dungeon. I was also over-encumbered for most of this encounter as I was greedy and decided to raid the chest while he was still coming out of the coffin instead of just getting some free damage in. The hardest part about this fight was how much damage I would still take even though blocking against his regular attacks. I also didn't have a crazy amount of healing supplies and was worried about having to start from scratch all over again. After going through everything I had, I really did not want to go through all of that again, and so the only choice I had left was to keep my distance to avoid his attacks and take pot shots in between healing. To my success, I grabbed the Dragonstone, increased my stamina one last time, put a point in the last school of magic, hit the chest for true explorers, and I'm finally headed back to Riverwood. Upon my return, I reunited Lucan with his beloved seltzer beverage, sold all the gear I'd gathered, increasing my speech to 18 in the process, helped Feindal with his love life for free archery training up to level 34, leveled up, increasing my health, and put a point in block that I'd forgotten, and I remembered to reclaim my prized bucket. On my way to Whiterun, I picked up more of Papa John's ingredients, killed a wolf, ripped apart some butterflies, checked the Khajiit trader's inventory, and headed into the city. Once inside Dragon's Reach, I spoke to Jarl Balgruuf, gave Farengar the Dragonstone, and was called to investigate about a dragon attack. I'll just let this one play out as the briefing started.
Wait, I know you. Western Watchtower. A dragon? Now we're in for it.
After the briefing, I checked my inventory for healing supplies, and I'd like to have a moment of silence for the absolute lack of preparation. Okay, let's go. While waiting for the soldiers, I dismembered some more butterflies, met up with the party, and proceeded with the first dragon fight. It goes about how I expected it to. I played it a bit safer and hung back where possible and let the guards be fodder. I was even lucky enough to get the kill cam on the dragon. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. After a few more fruitless, humiliating, and demoralizing attempts, I increased my archery to 35, finally got the kill on the dragon, absorbed its soul, and was summoned to High Hrothgar by the Greybeards. Most players probably took a break here, so I figured it'd be a good stopping point. All things considered, I started off enjoying the process of this challenge a lot more than I expected to. There's a lot of failures to be made, losses to experience, but regardless, I'm excited for the successes and rewards of getting to mark the absolute unit of a laundry list complete. Hopefully you enjoyed this video and are willing to embark with me in this long, tedious journey. And with that said, I'll see you in the next one.